we first and foremost we say we are a policy charity, and people ask, what does it mean? Why? So because it's somehow, especially given like 26 years of experience of being very policy focused, I find that currently this question comes as almost, we feel sorry for you. And I do understand where this comes from, because obviously, as Jason referenced this, where the policies omit race and it's no longer priority, it's hard to justify why would you be interested about the policy. But in my view, and in my that's my personal as well as organizational view, that's where we need to be focused, because that's the foundation. Everybody who has been to prison or works in the prison service or whatever capacity knows that policies are very important, because it's a very regimental system. In fact, if I guess first question asked is there a policy about this? How do we deal with this? So it's really important that these policies, especially at the national level, are reflective of what needs are at a grassroots level. You said about some of the institutions having people from ethnic minority groups more than non-ethnic minorities, which is true. Generally, we know that in terms of population-wise, about 30% of prison population comes from ethnic minority groups, which includes the white minorities, such as Gypsy, Roma, traveller groups as well. And I will find it really, really hard to otherwise anyone tell me that policy is not important, because policy sets tone, policy sets priorities. And it's interesting because when you have to justify the impact, in the same way funders do ask us, how do you justify impact of your existence and irrelevance? In fact, there is a policy, national policy around discrimination complaint system in prisons, and it took us 7 years or 8 years to advocate, to retain the policy, to make it better. And
just to retain the policy,
yes,
it wasn't even introduce it.
Yeah, so it was introduced. There were certain changes which would have been introduced at the end of its expiry date, and it took us 7 years to conduct the monitoring of the processes, then do the evaluation, and then we were very lucky to have the opportunity, such as the Lamy review, where we presented our argument that it's really important that people do have designated specific complaint space, such as discrimination complaints, and it should not be amalgamated with more generic complaint system, which usually deals with, for example, missing trainers. So that on its own took us 7-8 years, and it is hard to justify to funders.